Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Legit Football NFL podcast. This is 30 minutes of football, and I am here actually solo tonight. No producer, no co host. I am just here to talk about football with whoever will listen. I already know that it's going to be a pop-in show because I have my boy Joe Holland in the chat. Joe Holland is going to be setting it off for you. Thomas is here. We got the GOAT graphic designer Thomas here, just keeping me company, man. I get by with a little help from my friends, to quote the great Beatles. I desperately miss Brian McFadden, Anthony Weiner, but we're going to make it work, baby. That's what we do on Legit Football on 30 minutes of football. So, this is the casual 30 minutes. We're chopping it up. We're talking football. Anything you guys have that you want to talk about, especially you, Joe, because this is your first time being in a chat. So I'm really hoping you'll set it off with me, bro. Joe, fellow Bills fan, great guy, friend of mine for a long time. So I'm just going to go for 30 minutes. I don't have an official timer like Anthony usually does. Like I said, I'm the substitute teacher today. I'm wheeling in the cart with the TV on it. It's going to be real cash. Hopefully you guys are about that life. So Joe or Thomas, if you guys have any football related questions that you'd like to get into, I would be more than happy to answer. In the meantime, as the substitute teacher, I do have a couple housekeeping things that I'll just get off my chest. What do you know? The DeAndre Hopkins story is thank you, Thomas. Okay. I was hoping somebody would bring it up so I would have an excuse to talk about it. I was going to talk about it on my own, but the DeAndre Hopkins rumors are still going. They're still kicking. We have been waiting for the longest time. I thought for sure it was dead in the water, and then we have the rumors recently that he's willing to take a pay cut. Okay, sweet. Or that the Bills would be willing to sign him for the right price. Okay, sweet. But he doesn't seem interested in playing for less money. I don't really feel like going around in circles if I'm the Bills, if I'm Hopkins. I feel like he's gonna pick money. Like, I feel like that's just something that I'm just very confident about. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a Titan this time tomorrow or a Patriot or something. But we're doing it. We're still doing the dance. So yeah, the report was that if he was willing to ring chase and play for less, he would come and play for the Bills. La-di-da. I would love it. Obviously, I everybody who listens to the show knows how desperately badly I've wanted that and how awesome I think that would be. But the clock is just ticking on him signing, and the longer we wait, the more and more boring it becomes. The less interested I get as a fan, as somebody who talks about football on a show 4 times a week. It's I've had it up to here, but it is what we do. It's the gig. So I'm here to tell you that I still don't think it's going to happen. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins will play for that low of a dollar sign. So great. Thank you for bringing that up, Thomas, because I was going to bring it up anyway. So I appreciate you for that. Anybody who doesn't know, as I've already said, Thomas is the GOAT graphic designer. Joe, fellow Bills fan, don't want him in Diggs, we trust. I can respect that. I mean, it's undeniable that he would have a positive impact on the team and he would move the needle. Josh Allen plus weapons equals gold. So, I can't be mad at it. But I don't know how much of a situation that we have to, I don't know how much of a financial bind we want to put ourselves in for a wide receiver 2. Joe recommends signing Taylor Lewan if we want to spend money. I do have a question from a longtime listener, one of the best regulars we have, Takedo Luna. We miss you, Takedo. Every time you're in the chat, you bring great energy. Please turn your notifications on, bro, because we need you in here. Do the Lions have a legit chance of being the best offense? Now, if this said, do the Lions have a legit chance of being a great offense or a top 10 offense or even a top 7, I would say yes. But the best offense that's just such a high bar. You're looking at the Chiefs, you're looking at the Bills, you're looking at the Eagles. I'm projecting a huge step forward from the Ravens this season. So I don't necessarily know if I would forecast the Lions being the best offense. You use the term legit chance. Maybe that was a little branding shout out. Maybe you were giving us a little legit branding opportunity there, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Tyler. In the chat, we know noted Lions fan and twin of the producer Anthony. Tyler, if you're with Anthony, tell him to jump on. I'm up the creek without a paddle, man. My producer's not here. But yeah, no, I think legit chance, yes, but it's like it depends on how loose you're using the term legit. I would say it's like a less than 20%, but in the 10 to 15% range, I think they have a shot at being the best. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I love the David Montgomery signing. Johnson's already has been, calling great games, and Goff took a huge step forward last year. Joe thinks Gibbs is going to eat. Yeah, Joe, I agree with you, man. I'm definitely he's a nice little piece in fantasy if you can get your hands on him. So thank you for Takado for bringing us a good question. I do have another question from Joe Holland, and that's what this is: 30 minutes of football. We just straight up answer questions like that's what we do on 30 minutes. Sam Howell or Desmond Ridder, who is going to play better? Now, I want to give a shout out to Brian McFadden because every episode of 30 minutes of football, which I've been in France for the last 3 or 4 episodes for 30 minutes, so haven't had a chance to really chop it up. But every episode of 30 minutes of football, and I've listened to every single one, Brian McFadden looks for an excuse to talk about his love for Sam Howell. So I think, yes, I personally think Sam Howell is a better prospect. I personally like Sam Howell a lot more than Desmond Ridder from like a trait standpoint. McFadden actually did a full breakdown of Howell's European Kevin. Yes, that's been me. Sam Howell's draft stock and how it looked like there was a chance he could be the first overall pick a handful of years ago. Yeah, I like Sam Howell a lot. I think he has a lot of spunk. I'm not like out on Desmond Ridder per se. We've seen almost nothing, and Ridder was an interesting prospect as well. I like Ridder's weapons a lot more. I like Ritter's situation a lot more. Great offensive line, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. So I definitely would say that I think Ridder has all the chance in the world to succeed. It's going to depend on the guy. Like, is he the guy? Like, does he have that dog in him? Last year we saw him in one start, and it kind of looked like he maybe had like some Karen Terrier in him or something like that. Maybe some, some Pomeranian. But he had a little, and Howell meanwhile beat the Cowboys, who are projected by many to be the favorites in the East. So Howell might have that dog in him too. It's an interesting conversation, and I'm glad you compared those two, Joe, because they are basically in identical situations. We've seen very little of them. They're stepping into bigger roles. They have an off season as the one, but they also both could be sitting ducks, really. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. Takado, bring in some more good vibes in the chat. As a Raider fan, I hope we blank the bed. He knows it's a family show, man. I appreciate you for that one, Takado. And get my boy Caleb Williams. Yeah, tanking for Caleb Williams would be really nice. Williams and Drake May, they're both people are thinking that they're going to be prime tank candidates. Joe says that the Raiders should trade for Cooper Rush. That is hilarious. Cooper Rush really low key should be starting. Right? Like, I mean, he showed to be very, very capable of winning football games last season with Dallas. I mean, he's not the most tradesy or toolsy quarterback, but he can hit his marks, man. Like, he could play the Brock Purdy role. He could go in there and throw paper if the defense throws rock, and throw scissors if the defense throws paper. So Takado says that Desmond has the Zach Wilson dog in him. That depends on Desmond's off the field antics. If he's getting into if he's cougar hunting like Zach was, then maybe he does. But Zach deserves at least a sliver of our respect for that. But yeah, it sounds like Joe thinks that someone is for real. I'm guessing, is it Ridder that Joe is talking about is for real and can win games? Or no, Cooper Rush, he's probably talking about. Yeah, I like Cooper Rush as well, man. Yeah, I definitely think that's not a bad call. I'm just stoked to have upstate New York legend Joe Crack in the chat for 30 minutes of football on the one episode I happen to be Dolo for. So I have a chance to just bounce some ideas off Joe. We might get him on one of these 30 minutes podcasts at some point. Um, so Takedo, Joe, Tyler, Thomas, anyone who's got more cool stuff to talk about, you already know I will absolutely fill the space with as much NFL dialogue as humanly possible. I'm thinking about doing my favorite jersey rankings. Personally, I don't know if anything will beat the Buffalo home blue. I love me a good powder blue Chargers. The Honolulu blue New Lions leaks are pretty nice. I wish Anthony was here to talk about that with because he fanboys over those uniforms. We have Takedo. I seen two teams flop on big drafts and should just call them Malik and the 49 cut them and Malik and the yeah, no, seriously though. Malik, man, there's talks of Malik's roster spot being in question, and it's just tough because it's like, man, I mean, he did look pretty bad in his spot start last season. But what has Will Levis proven, you know? I mean, I guess technically Levis is a little bit more of a, newer prospect. So there could be things about Levis's game that they're seeing. Takedo loves the blackout Lions jerseys. Yeah, they are cold, man. Cold-blooded. I absolutely love the Bucks are bringing back creamsicle this year. And I love to hate the creamsicle. I think they're ugly as all get out, but like in like a cool way, in like a very football way. The same way that I think those Thomas, anytime a practice squad QB has more belief in the building, you're cooked. Yeah, that's not great. That's not a great sign, right? Definitely gotta send some good thoughts to Malik. I mean, the athleticism is off the charts, right? And he was always meant to be a developmental prospect. He was always raw, So the fact that people are writing him off so quickly is definitely a bit disappointing. I'm hoping to see him get a little bit more of a shot. If not in Tennessee, then Kyle Allen might be keeping his seat warm as the backup quarterback in Buffalo. That's anytime there's a reclamation project, that's the first place my brain goes as a Bills fan is just, can they back up Josh Allen? How are they at holding clipboards? Will they make sure to get the cream and sugar in Josh's morning coffee right? That's why Matt Barkley has had a job as the third string practice squad quarterback for X amount of years because, he's a great golf caddy. He gives Josh the right tips. Yeah, Takedo, I can get down with that. I'm kind of on the same page there. And people forget we talk regularly on the show about the influx of talent at the quarterback position. The world needs backups. There's nothing wrong with that. Really quickly, I'll wrap up my point I was making on the uniform thing. The other uniform I was thinking of, there's two more that are just so ugly that they're attractive, and I'm thinking of the Jets throwbacks. Picture the ones I want to say they're like dark green, or yeah, dark green, and then the Packers have similar ones, dark green with like Dijon mustard pants, and then we also have the just abysmal, just disgrace to the human eye, Pittsburgh Steelers Bumblebee. I think those are the NFL uniforms that are so ugly that they're beautiful. Biased here, hot take here. I don't the on Bill's Twitter, the 2000s, the early 2000s navy blue Bills uniforms, the home navy blue or the white and red accented. Those get dogged a lot on Bill's Twitter. I don't think they're that bad. Hot take. I actually am kind of a fan of them. But I don't know if that's nostalgia because that's the team I started watching, or if it's so ugly that it's good vibes. But yeah, no, that's my thoughts on the uniforms that are so ugly that they're great. But we have Oscar in the chat showing some love. What's up, Kevin? Actually, you know what? Producer Anthony Weiner is calling me right now. I'm gonna answer it on the air just to say what up to him. What up, Ant? How are you, brother? Oh, no worries, bro. I started it live. I'm on the air right now. Actually, I went solo. I figured it out. Yeah, if you want to, yeah. Anthony might hop on, guys. Everybody say Anthony. You want to say hi to the people?
Hi, people.
There you go. There's Anthony. Yeah, yeah. Hop on, bro. I'm gonna hang up, but just jump on whenever you can. All right.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be right there.
All right. Good stuff. Peace. Yeah, and I'm working overtime today. I'm working double time. Um, yo, Oscar, the homie, it's good to see you, my brother, as always. Yes, that's what I'm saying to Cato. The Packers old school yellow and brown. It's hideous, but it's like football hideous though. It's like I feel it in my bones. I feel that football vibe in my bones. Joe still wears his Lynch and his Owens. Yes, the navy blue. I had a Travis Henry. I had an Eric Molds. I had Paul Posluszny. I had a Marshawn Lynch. You remember the collection, bro. Um Takado, dude, a station cuts legit football is cutting Ant like ESPN cut Keyshawn. That's disrespectful, man. We would never do Ant like that, man. He's the producer with the mostest. Just one of those nights, man. One of those nights. But that's why I came in, man. That's why, like I said, I'm working overtime. Shout out to Oscar. Yeah, they're sliding, bro. We got Joe and Oscar sliding in the chat. That is what I'm talking about. Joe, Oscar, let me tell you right now, number one social media supporter of legit football. I have so much love for Oscar and everything that he does. I'm telling you, I talked about post notifications earlier. This man Oscar's post notifications are on, and we appreciate it, bro. So this is a good time. I believe this is technically halftime. They did keep everyone else. I'm waiting for the moment when I hear that Kendrick Perkins has been let go. He's my least favorite on ESPN, with all due respect. But oh, Joe thought that Oscar was the guy who we used to work at Starbucks with. Different Oscar, Joe. Different Oscar. Better Oscar. This Oscar's better. Let me just say this is technically our halftime. We do a halftime during 30 minutes of football. We're at the 17-minute mark. Yeah, Oscar, no, you say no problem, but I'm just telling you right now, bro, you could never know how much we appreciate you. This is the point in the show, usually 30 minutes of football, where we have guests promote their material. We have our guests promote their independent ventures. We got Anthony is here. Anthony, he's coming in. I hope he's ready.
Hey,
I'm
what's
bringing
up, guys?
What up, Ant? Hey, bro, you missed it, man. The substitute teacher wheeled in the cart with the TV today. We've been flying by the seat of our pants.
Hey, that's great. That's what this show's all about.
But you're back, baby. You're ready to roll. So
Oh
the
yeah.
chat's been on fire. I don't know if you can see the comments, but we have Takedo, Oscar, my boy Joe, Joey Crack. Thomas has been here. We've been having some really, really good chats and good banter. So I think I've answered every question we've had so far.
Good. Do you have
Uh,
any questions for me? I'd love to.
Oh, we have one more we didn't get to, and I will get to that right now. And it's a Joe Crack question: is Pittsburgh going to take a step forward with Kenny? Anthony, I've been riffing for about 19 minutes straight on the solo, so that's going to be a you question, and I'm going to take a
All
drink
right.
of water.
I want to say yes. I've been a Kenny Pickett believer for a while, well, since he got drafted. I watched a lot of his film prior to that specific draft, and I really liked his play style. And then I saw him take some snaps in Pittsburgh before last season, where he took most of the snaps in Pittsburgh, and I liked what I saw a lot. And I think that it's what's around him that is
Yeah.
causing him to have minor struggles. I think that coaching, the offensive coordinator, I think might not understand his potential. And so
Yeah.
if you give Kenny the ability, he will get the job done. And now that he has kind of a status where he's been in the league now, he's played games, he's won games, he's lost games, given the opportunity now to be the quarterback that Pittsburgh needs, and I think he can do just that.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing. I think he's a bit athletically limited. I think he's not a traitsy guy. He's not a toolsy guy. Coming into his second year, that's a common breakout year for quarterbacks. I don't love the arm. I do like the accuracy and I do like the decision making. I also really like his moxie. In a game that he started against Buffalo, actually, he was in it until the very end. They were down huge, Anthony. It was like 35-3. Josh Allen and the starters for Buffalo were already warming up the bench. And Kenny Pickett went out there and tried to run over a linebacker. And he didn't. He got stood up like a brick wall and fell to his face, but he got right up and he thought a hit was late and he came in and charged at the guy. And I was like, that's how you earn your teammates' respect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you do it. You have to demonstrate that you got that dog in you. And we were doing dog rankings earlier. We talked about how, Desmond Ritter had a Cairn Terrier in him, and Sam Howell had maybe like a Pomeranian in him. I'm thinking
Matthew Stafford's the OG.
Matthew Stafford's a bulldog, bro.
Bulldog.
He is a freaking bulldog.
Literally.
Here we go. We have two things. First of all, Takeda wants to know, what are your thoughts on are you from Michigan?
I'm from Muskegon, Michigan.
So
It's on the West Coast on Lake
thing.
Michigan. It's a beautiful town.
It's a beautiful thing. We have Joe. They had to get their line right. Pouncey retiring hurt. Yeah, their line, it's going to take some time, but they did pick up Isaac Seumalo from Philly. He's a big upgrade for them. Was Pickett hurt? I don't remember.
He got banged up. I don't want to say he was out on injury, but they did bench him so he wouldn't get hurt, and so he did have to sit out for a while, and then he came back.
Oh no. Okay, hold on. We have two comments here. We'll get to. We don't want. We have three. The chat is on fire. I'm telling you. Okay, Thomas.
It's great.
His success will hinge on his cast. He's closer to Tua than Josh Allen as a player. I couldn't agree more, Thomas. I think that's a great comparison. Actually, I think Kenny Pickett's ceiling is kind of like a Tua. Maybe a little less athletic.
I think if Kenny Pickett had the targets that Tua has, then yes, he could be.
I agree,
and
I think
depends
that's what
on who you're throwing to.
Yeah.
Are they good route runners?
Yeah.
Are they speedsters? It's
Yeah.
put all these variables together,
Yeah.
and that's where you're going to find success as a quarterback, is who you're throwing to.
Yeah, and I think that's what Thomas is getting to here, because a player like Josh Allen will his team to victory, will his team to being in games. Players like Tua, players like Kenny Pickett, players like Kirk Cousins, they're more like products of their environment. Like they can thrive in the right system, but they're not going to elevate the guys around them, if that makes sense.
Well, Josh Allen's the kind of guy who makes his teammates look good.
Right.
Where with Kenny Pickett, he has to depend on his teammates to make him look good.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, Anthony just nailed it there. You had me fooled, Anthony. I would have thought you were here from the beginning. We have Takeda out after the Crapford comment. You can't pull that kind of stuff, Takeda, when Anthony's here. You look at his hat, you can't be pulling that.
The thing is I want to bring up the NFL films against the Cleveland Browns. He had a dislocated arm and he scored a 2-point conversion.
That's my favorite play.
That when I said that comment, that's what I was referring to, was that specific NFL
He's got that bulldog in him, bro. He's an OG.
No,
you don't gotta justify nothing, bro. This is a pro Stafford
11 years in Detroit.
He's Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
Tua made of glass bones and paper skin. Nice SpongeBob reference there. Bringing it home. We have Takedo's also from Michigan. That's dope. How many touchdowns do you think Jamal Williams will get in New Orleans? Okay.
I actually have a real guess. I have a real guess for this.
Shoot your guess, and then we got to talk about this, because there's a lot going on here.
8.
I like it. I think that's pretty reasonable.
8.
And Anthony, the down the pipe, it seems like Kamara, he pled no contest today. Charges are no longer. So
we'll see.
That could result in either less of or no suspension for Kamara. So
this is what's going to get Jamal Williams touchdowns. Can they get to the goal line? That's every touchdown he scored was within 5 yards of the end zone. So if you can get him there, he can get into the end zone. So it really depends on what's the offense doing. How are they operating?
Yeah, he did a remarkable job punching it in. Like, that was kind of his specialty last year. So
exactly.
10 is Takedo's prediction. If I was a betting man, we got Kamara, but we also have Derek Carr. We have Olave. I think 8 is a good prediction, Anthony. I think I'm gonna, because I don't want to just go under just for the sake of Price is Right rules. Just try to one up you. I'm
Right.
just gonna go with 8. I like where your head's at. Joe Holland, Joe Crack, Josh Allen is pure moxie. He really is. No, that's I don't know if there's anybody in the league who's got as much as him. He's the swagger king. He just spinning the ball at the defender. Throwing the ball out of the stadium. Anthony remembers the laser beam he threw in Detroit on Thanksgiving to send his boys home without a dub.
I'll be
Uh,
honest, I was impressed. I'm like, okay, but that was a good play.
that
I'm like,
throw was
but that
freaking
was a good throw.
crazy.
I'm like, we lost, but he played really well. So
Yeah,
it's hard
that's one of
to.
my favorite Josh Allen plays of all time. Joe, low-hanging fruit going for Michael Thomas's injury history there, but it's true. Predicts that Michael Thomas is out week 3 with a foot and that Williams will score 14 touchdowns. That's a little rich for my blood. I don't know if I could predict 14 unless it's like Nick Chubb or like Derrick
That's
Henry or something.
Kamara would have to get hurt for the season, and you
Or
would have to take
suspended, right?
every carry. That's the only
Yeah.
way he's getting 14.
Well, and they also have Kendry Miller, who's going to be a rookie this year, and I think he looks like he's going to be a bit of a stud. So yeah, there's a lot going on there in the New Orleans. I think New Orleans is being left for dead. I think they're being slept on right now. I absolutely think New Orleans is I think they could compete for the playoffs. I really do.
Oh wow,
Yeah, in the
hot take.
NFC South, right? With what is it? Atlanta, Carolina, and Tampa.
Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Who they say are the Saints the favorites in that division? I mean,
No, I believe the Panthers are.
but they have a rookie quarterback. I mean,
It's true.
they have a trash receiving core. I think the Falcons have as good of a case as anybody to be the favorite. I think, as always, that division is wide open because
I just don't think New Orleans could win the division. I think it'll be close, but I don't
Derek
think they'll
Carr,
pull it
Chris
off. I like
Olave,
Derek
Dewan
Carr.
Johnson.
I'm a Derek Carr fan. I've always thought he was such a good quarterback. He was just in the wrong
underrated.
situation.
He's
But
slept on.
the rest of the team, the defense isn't as dominant as it was in the Drew Brees era, and I just think there's a lot of work still to do. Maybe a couple of years down the road, but not next season.
Yeah, so let's take a look here because we got the chat. This is the thing about this show, Anthony. The chat is so on fire that I'm just I'm playing catch up the whole time. This is how 30 minutes of football
So Thomas
should.
said the Saints are the betting favorites,
And I get it. I understand why. That's makes a lot of sense. Thomas is a fan of the NFC South. So Thomas, comment your answer here. But do you see the Panthers contending with the Saints to win that division? Because it's going to be tough. We have Takado. I'll say it now. They win their division. Takado's predicting the Saints. And Joe is showing some love for Jamal. He was a dog. Aaron Jones was in front of Williams. He could have always ate. Yeah, he had some nice years in Green Bay. Wrong, Josh. Belichick isn't a good coach. I don't know who he's talking to or about. But that's okay. We're gonna keep it moving. And 30 minutes is already almost up. I mean, I'm cool to just keep chopping. If the chat is this live, I mean, I feel like we owe it to the chat to keep going for a little bit. And you kind of came in a little late, so if you want to get some football topics off of your chest,
yeah, I'll get one thing out, but we do have to stick to the format.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's referring to Josh McDaniels.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I see what he's saying now. Yeah, McDaniel sucks. No, he's horrible.
Yeah, he is. So no, I really like that this turned into a live viewer question show.
Oh yeah, it was
I think
crazy.
that was a lot of fun. Which
yeah.
we will be bringing this format, the viewer questions back in the regular season, every week. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, so Thomas, thank you for this because this is what I was looking for here. I was looking for this answer. If Bryce is immediately better than Darnold was during the last month or so, then Carolina will win it. I think that's not a bad case. It's just tricky because Bryce is so young and inexperienced. Like I think as the first overall pick,
are we going to talk about the size element? I know we've stopped talking about that after the draft, but
it gets talked about a lot in regards to like Tua and in regards to like Kyler. So I mean, I'm not as much of a believer that has that much to do with it. I think it needs to be considered, right? But I don't think it's going to stop Bryce Young from being great. If Bryce Young is going to be great, he'll be great either way with or without an extra 15 pounds or an extra couple inches or an extra couple inches on the hand size. Um, really hot take here. Joe Holland, Tampa Bay will win the South. It's gonna be a
Nice.
no from me, dog. It's gonna be a no from me, dog. I think that's gonna be the worst team in the NFL.
Are you a Baker believer
I
or
think
do you
Joe is
think
a Baker believer, and that's why he says this because I
I
can't
like
get on
Baker.
board.
I like his energy. I've liked him since college. Um, can he find success in Tampa Bay?
Yeah,
Yes, I think it depends on what happens around him, especially
yeah.
in the coaching room.
I'm not the biggest fan of Baker's on the field or off the field. But that's okay. I mean, I like a success. I like an underdog,
Same, yeah.
and not often do you see the first overall pick in the draft turn into an underdog, but here we are. Cleveland did him dirty, and so I'll always kind of have a soft spot for him there. I'll always kind of be rooting for him on that front. Will Jameson have a good second half after the suspension, Anthony?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, he's going to be second targeted to Amon-Ra St. Brown with Marvin Jones playing slot. I just think that it's going to be um, a really good comeback. And I think that's going to be almost a completely different team. They're already going to start the season off strong, no matter what. I mean, if you're down one receiver, there's still 4 or 5 more who are there to back it up. You know, the whole saying "next man up." That's just how
Right.
the NFL operates.
Yeah.
And so with him being out, I don't think it's going to be too bad. Focused on the run game, and that's why they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the first place, so we could put that run game in and really establish the offense. And the offense has already been established. I know DJ Chark is gone, but
Yeah.
I think for 6 games, everything will be okay. And yes, I believe that he will come out, maybe have a 600, 700-yard season.
Yeah, and in a shortened season with the suspension, that would be impressive. I mean, if he pulls off 700 yards in
Yeah.
the time that he's going to have as a second-year player, really a rookie, given his limited amount of time that he played in his first year, then that would be an unmitigated success. That would be like 100% looked at as a successful season by the Lions and their fans, correct?
Yep. There are going to be 31 teams this year without kneecaps.
I love it. Campbell's going for it, man. He's going for the knees. Couple more things we'll get to, and then we'll wrap it up because we are getting towards the end of the show. Thomas says the concerns are fair, but he won a Heisman at that size, so he's left it
I
alone.
do have a comment about that comment. That's college football. This is
Mm.
the pros now. Things are different. Guys are much bigger.
But I get where Thomas is coming from, though. I mean,
Of course, yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you can play, you can play. I mean, Russell Wilson is tiny. Tua is still a baller regardless of the health. Lamar has a smaller frame and he's balling out. We have Joe, Rashad White, and the receivers. I do love Mike Evans. I'll always love Mike Evans. Rashad White's great. And they have some nice O linemen, but the quarterback position is just awful. And I'm projecting some regression from the defense. I know that they have talent. I like Devin White a lot. I love Vita Vea. He says Baker needed these weapons at receiver. His ending last year with the Rams sold me. He did have an impressive little stretch there. That little comeback game he had was beautiful. That's the stuff that football fairy tales are written from.
Absolutely.
Being on the team and in the city for 72 hours and leading your team to a game-winning drive is beautiful. I think we've done our job today, Anthony. We've talked for 30 minutes. At least I have. 16 for
Yeah.
you. Good enough. Better than nothing. We had some love from Joe. We had some love from Takado, Thomas. Tyler actually popped in as well for a split second. And I was like, yo, tell your brother to call me. It was so funny. Yeah, a lot of love in the chat today. Oscar was here, man. Yeah. So this is the dream right here, Anthony. This is what we hope and pray for when we do 30 minutes and the listeners delivered. We can only hope to God that Anthony and I in the sweltering Los Angeles heat were able to deliver. You can tell in our freaking tank tops that we're fighting for our lives over here. Shout out to Joe Holland, man. Having Joe in the chat really brought some different kind of energy, Joe. This is what we need, man. We're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Joe, start practicing them analyst chops because you got some good takes, good insights. And anything you want to say to the people before we send them off?
I wasn't here for long, but I'm glad I could stop in. I was eating dinner, lost track of time. You know how it
Dude, we're
It's
just
the
happy
heat
we had
messing with my head.
Bro, you know what? You gave me a crash course a couple weeks ago on how to start and end a show, and I figured it out. It's all Gucci, man. Appreciate you though
All right.
for swinging through, and everybody, Takedo, Joe, Oscar, Tyler, Anthony. This has been 30 minutes of football, and we are out.
See ya. Why do you hate Tyreek Hill?
Wow, I see. Another spoiler: Justin Herbert is on my hot seat.
Yeah, as bad as the Bucs were, they still had Tom Brady.